welcome back. My name is Susan and a huge welcome to my YouTube channel where you will find videos about sketching, drawing and all things creativity. Now I'm an artist and author and online tutor of all things sketching. And last week I spoke about creating small 5-minute rituals in your sketchbook. Today I want to talk about something just a little bit different, something that stops us from sketching. The fear of the blank page. Now this is a real fear. It is something that can stop us in our tracks. We grab our sketchbook, we grab our pencil, we open it up. We're all creative, we're brimming, we want to do something, we want to engage with creativity, but then we open that blank page and, what shall we draw? And there are many things that our very, very different brains can be thinking at this point, and each one of us is different. Each one of us will have something that personally stops us from putting pen or pencil to that paper. Now, the first one is perfectionism. It's that fear of doing something wrong, that fear of creating a sketch, creating a drawing, or even a little painting in a sketchbook that's just wrong. It's bad, it's not good enough. And this comes from wanting to achieve, wanting to do well. And certainly when we look on YouTube, when we look on Instagram, Facebook, we look at all these beautiful social media platforms where we see wonderful artists sketching and sharing their sketchbooks. It can be incredibly intimidating. And some of these sketches are amazing. I mean, I love looking at people's work and how creative they are and the things they come up with. But I know that if I look too much, I start to doubt myself and my own skills. And I, of course, only have skills in certain things. I can't draw everything in all mediums that appeals to everyone. That's too broad, that's way too intimidating. I like to draw in my own way, using my own subject matters and the materials that interest me. There's a certain size of sketchbook that I enjoy working with, formats, papers. And I have to remind myself that actually it's really important to lean into what I like to do, and that it's not about a perfect sketch. It's not about being better than that other artist. I mean, that's completely irrelevant, and that pressure can go round and round in circles in our head. And I'm going to talk about how we can get past this in a minute. Now, the other thing, and again, certainly something that comes to my mind, is overthinking. There are so many things that we could sketch that our logical brain starts analysing. I could do this, I could do that, I could do this, I could do this, I could use this material, that material. And we spend so long in something called analysis paralysis, where we're too busy trying to figure out the problem, that we actually spend that 5 minutes thinking about what to draw, that we've lost our creative time, we've lost our sketching time. And so what we need to do is remove these barriers. We need to remove that fear of perfectionism, that imposter syndrome, that going wrong, that I'm going to do it wrong, I'm going to ruin a sketchbook. We need to remove this. And we also, in a way, need to remove those barriers to starting. We just need to get going. So that's what can stop us. So let me dive in now to how we can break into that sketchbook simply and easily. Okay, so the way to break into your blank page in your sketchbook is to create a structure. So something like a grid, a layout, a selection of boxes, lines, sections. And you're breaking into the sketchbook page by just creating smaller, more approachable spaces in which to work. Now, creating thumbnail sketches or small little sketches is a technique used by artists for hundreds and hundreds of years. So artists would take their sketchbooks, grab a pencil, and they would do little small drawings of compositions that they see within a landscape. For example, it doesn't have to be a landscape, I'm just using that as an example so you can sort of picture it in your brain. And this would be the sort of thing that you can create. And I will show you my sketchbooks in a little bit more detail in a moment. But essentially just using a pencil, draw a rectangle and then just draw the major shapes, the tone, like the light and the dark, the bits that they're interested in, maybe even making notes. Okay, it's a way of recording information to then come back to the studio and paint in more detail later on. So you can create this yourself. You can create loose, small studies so that you're not having to fill the whole page, just a little bit. or you can create little smaller boxes, grids, lines, etc., etc. So what I'm going to do is hop over to my sketchbooks and just show you some examples you can set up yourself. So here we are, and a huge welcome to a few of my sketchbooks. As I just mentioned, you can create little sections in your sketchbook really loosely with a pencil or a pen to create a thumbnail sketch. And I do this all the time when I go out to sketch landscapes. This, for example, was when I was down in Chichester. There's a few different examples here. I've done sky studies. So as you can see here, I've repeated this technique of small thumbnails, and I don't do this all in one sitting. I might do these at different times. More recently, I was visiting Paris, which is really rather lovely, and I pre-prepared a grid using just a cardboard template. I created 6 spaces on this sketchbook page, and then just using simple pencil, when I was in one of the parks in Paris, I sat and I drew various different views in this slightly more formalised grid structure. Now, you can create lots of grids for different things. I've got loads of different grids within my sketchbook. So for example, here, I've got some teeny tiny grids. This is a 3x5 size, and these are just an inch square, so a couple of centimetres. And I've just done abstract doodles. So you can fill your sketchbook spaces with dots, shapes, textures, patterns, landscapes, whatever it is that floats your boat and makes you excited about sketching. Here I have some abstract drawings and doodles, some really simple flower shapes. So again, it can be absolutely anything that you want. These little tiny ones are just colour studies. So I've drawn some little spaces, little squares on the sketchbook and played with pencil and colour and just done some fun colour studies. Now, the last thing I want to show you is a super fun layout technique. And this is something I've been playing with in my Inspire membership this summer. And that is to create some really interesting layouts, things like this. This looks like a little post-it note. And it's created by simply using a fine liner pen, maybe putting a little date on it so I can do a little drawing each day. And I've drawn some lines to make some notes underneath. There's another fun layout here where again, I've just used a fine liner pen to just draw some smaller spaces in the sketchbook. And with this, I actually also used just a grey brush pen to go over the lines just to make it a little bit more interesting. And again, there's another layout like this here that I've created. So dividing the page up into smaller areas makes these little bits a bit more approachable. You can fit these into small moments of time. And it takes away that fear of the blank page because there is no longer a blank page. Spaces have been created, and I think I've got another space here. Yeah, so I've got another grid page laid out here, ready for next time I go out, just to gradually fill these in, do 1 or 2 at a time as I go out and sketching. And this really helps with that feeling that you don't need to finish a full sketchbook page. Each one of this is a little mini adventure. You can just fill in these tiny little moments and capture your day, or for example, with this layout, capturing those things that you spot in the summer. Let your attention rest on just that one square, that one space at a time. We don't have to finish the whole spread and design it all and plan it all. No, you can just go, right, I'm going to do this little bit here and just focus on filling this part out here. Okay, so that's just a few examples for how you can set up thumbnails, templates, grids, different layouts in your sketchbook to remove that blank page and to get you started and to remove that little barrier before starting. You've got that space, you can go fill it in. So as you can see, grids, thumbnail spaces, funky sketchbook layouts are something I absolutely love, and they are peppered through, I think, every single one of the sketchbooks that I own and I use on a regular basis. So over the coming weeks on my YouTube channel, I will be sharing more ways that you can experiment with grids and spaces and small little areas in your sketchbook to get the most out of your sketching and to enjoy what I call those pockets of time, those little moments in your day where you can just dedicate a small space and 5 minutes to a little bit of creativity and arty sketching fun. So if you try a little grid or a small space in your sketchbook this week, please just comment and let me know how you get on. I love to hear how people are sketching and using some of the ideas that I use on my YouTube channel, so please do comment to find out more. And don't forget to stay tuned and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I will have more fun sketching videos coming up over the coming weeks. I'll see you soon.